Hello everyone. In our video today we're gonna present all the cable or the parallel cable or the connectors we usually use on solar panel. People can just connect the wires the way they want, but it won't be that firm, and maybe you might end up having some losses in current. So therefore the best way to deal with that is to use the proper connectors, proper cable, or proper crimping tools. So that's the main priority for today. So first of all, we have some CA to CA. That's this cable, extension cable, SEA. SEA this is the spelling. So what this allows you? This allows you, I use it just to connect the solar panel to my charge controller. Even I use a fuse in between, but this helps you better. You cut this one half. You use, you strip the wire and then put it in the charge controller from one hand, and then from the other hand you solder. You have to put you have to use iron soldering. You solder this one into the wire that comes from the extension cable that come from the solar panel. You put your fuse in between, and then you solder this from the wires that come from the solar panel, and at the end, that's how you end up connecting them. You see, let's show you. It's not gonna be any misconnection. You have the red goes to this, and then this one, the red, is gonna connect to the red color, and then the black color is going to connect the black color. So it's gonna be the same thing. It's just a way to connect and disconnect the solar panel from the charge controller. So I use it for that. It's very useful, and I think you guys will like it. Okay, SEA to SEA extension cable, that's the one I use, but always use fuse in between everything. We're gonna talk about this later. Okay, and then secondly, we have a solar fuse, which is this one with the MC4 terminal. You use this one to connect. You use this one on the positive side of the solar panel. Like even you put them on parallel, you put the solar panel on parallel, and then the Y branch that you use in parallel, you just connect this to the positive part, and then you got the positive continue to go all the way down to the charge controller. So if usually the solar panel can be distant like 50 feet apart, this is when you use the 10 or 8 gauge cables. It can be 50 feet away from the charge controller. So, and then you use this in order to prevent the damages of the solar panel or the charge controller. Okay, you can use the proper amperage. For this one I use 30 amp just to hook up with like 2 solar panels. You always go above what the panels push in order not to blow the fuse up for no reason. Okay, you use 30 amp in order to bring like 20 to 25 amp into the charge controller. Okay, you gotta use the proper amperage fuse. That's a fuse like any other fuse. Okay, that's one of the very important thing. You gotta use the proper fuse size in order not to damage your equipment, because if you put like a 50 amp fuse and then your charge controller is like 20 amp, can receive 20 amp, like when there's a peak, like sun, messing up the solar panel, the solar panel send a high voltage, it will not blow up the fuse, but it will damage your charge controller. So you gotta use the proper fuse size for your system. Very important. And then we got solar extension cable with the MC4 connectors. This is what you use. This is a 10 gauge, but you can use 10 or 8 gauge to bring the current from the solar panel to your charge controller. Once again, you can go a maximum of 50 feet. Always use fuses, as I mentioned. You connect this, like when you finish putting the Y parallel cable, and then you connect the fuse, okay, and then you connect this extension cable on the positive side, take it to the charge controller. This is 20 feet, but because mine is not that far away from the charge controller, okay. And then we got MC4 branch. That's the one I was just talking about. We have two different styles. You have this one. It keeps all the negative from the solar panel. Like if you want to put like 2 solar panels in parallel, they have 4, 3, whatever you want. But this one I was using 2, as I said. And then my solar panel gives 11 amp each. So I use this to connect the negative from each solar panel. We're gonna put them in parallel. It just add them in parallel, and then you use this for the positive from the solar panels. Add them as one. They will be one output. That's one. That's one. Okay. You use the positive, the negative here, the positive here, and then you got a positive out and a negative out. And then after, you're gonna put your fuse, as I said earlier, on the positive side. And let me show you a little quick. Put your fuse on the positive side. This one's gonna come out positive. And then you just have to change the wire if the terminal mismatch, like the positive on your cable, because I will show you later how to do, like how to add an MC4 connector, how to install it. Okay, so you just use it properly, and then this is perfect, tight, really tight. That's why I like using the MC4 connectors. Okay, and then the fuse is very accurate, like just follow your, as I said before, the fuse size is very important, not to blow up your charge controller or the solar, not to damage the solar panel. Boom. Okay, and then we have a battery disconnect switch. That's very important too. The battery disconnect switch will be between the battery and the charge controller. Let's say if you want to cut off your, I mean, you can put, people might want to put it from the inverter, but the inverter got a on and off switch already, so it's better to put this, you know, like if you sure that you're leaving the place for like 2 weeks or whatever, you just need, or if you want to clean up the battery, removing all the, you know, like dirt from the terminal, from the battery terminal, you know, you just have to disconnect this. That's a switch. It's a regular switch to disconnect. You had one, you know how a switch works. You put the same, like one wire, cut it in half, use the accurate terminal. This side got a terminal, this side got a terminal, and then this will work as a switch. That's a switch. You just follow the perfect way to put it on, and then it has an on and off. You'll see here, let me show you, that's the on position. If you turn this right here, it's on, and then if you turn it over here, it's on off, so it cut off the current. Okay, that's one other important tool people could use for the solar system, because you definitely need, like when you batteries, like if you're using lead acid batteries, you definitely will have to clean up the terminals, or, you know, in a way. And the Y branch, this one is equivalent to this. This one just gives you like a larger or a wider connection, but it's the same thing pretty much. But with this one you got less losses in terms of, you know, energy, because the wires usually got there's a little loss. And you have a solar crimping, that's important. Solar crimping tool. In this solar crimping tool, you got the solar crimping tool, and then they give you some MC4, like 5 pairs of MC4 connector, and you also have a wire stripper and cutter. This little thing you see here, it strips the wire. You got different sizes. You got 10 gauge, 12 gauge, you know, and so on, 14, and it also has a cutter. You can cut the wire. If you put it in between here, you'll cut the wire easily. Okay, that's you know, very important wire stripper. It helps you cutting off the wires too. And then last but not least, you have a battery meter. The battery meter tells you when the battery is at 75%, 50%, because, you know, lead acid battery, you can only discharge them up to 50%. So therefore, you definitely need the battery meter. And the battery meter would tell you when the battery is at 50%, 70%, or whatever. So now we're not connecting them yet, but on a different video, on another video, you'll see how it works. But it's simple. You just have this little jack on the back, you connect it, and then there's a positive, there's a negative to where the battery is, or you can connect them close to the inverter, on the top of the inverter, because I know the inverter might be closer to you than the battery. You just add it, and then they have different voltages. This wide ranges of voltages. You can start from 12 volts up to 84 volts DC voltages. Okay, very important. But once you connect it, it'll show you the battery capacity, you know, voltage capacity. That's important. That's an important tool. And so far, yes, I think that's pretty much it. And then the last is the quick disconnect jack. Those are important because for people who doesn't have a circuit breaker in their house, or if they want to make a different wiring for the solar system, I do recommend, this is a thermal circuit breaker. What it does, it up to 25 amps. When you're pulling 25 or a little over 25 amps, this thing will heat up a little bit, and then it will cut off automatically. It will cut the current. So therefore, you know you go over 25 amp. That's very important. You need to use a circuit breaker on your solar equipment. So and then with this, if you don't have a circuit breaker in your house, if you're doing it in an RV or in a different location, you need to use a quick disconnect. The quick disconnect, you use the female. I'm gonna show you how it works, because for solar system you definitely need use like tight connection, like firm connection. So that's why you use the female quick disconnect jack. And then this one is for 10 or 12 gauge, which is okay to bring the current in your appliances. You know, you just add this to boom, put it on. It's tough, you see, it's very solid. It's not gonna come out easily. Okay, so and then you put your cable here, and then you use the crimping tool, crimp it, and then it'll be very tight. That's it. That's what you need. Okay, so thank you guys for your support once again. My name is Reginald. Remember, you have to subscribe, invite friends, share the videos, give me likes. That's what I need to, you know, to support the channel, to keep on sending videos over and over. And also when you subscribe, just click all on the little bell. Okay, thank you guys, see you on a different video.